Dave Ellis or Steve Ellis or something, he was. He said, quite audibly, he said, "Oh, sod this." And in those days, everyone in the country used to watch Top of the Pops, right? Nobody went out until 8 o'clock on a Thursday night, right?
No.
And the whole country saw it. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Apart, the only other highlight on Top of the Pops was when Dexy's Midnight Runners were on. Do you remember this?
Which was that? Come on, Eileen.
No, it was Jackie Wilson said.
Oh yeah, and they got the wrong picture.
They put a big picture of Jockey Wilson up at the back.
Did you see that time Fergal Sharkey was on, and he was singing?
I didn't see that. But he fell out of the plane or something, didn't he?
Plane? Well, he went to do all his arm stuff, and the microphone fell out of his hand.
Oh.
Into audience. Anyway, before you cut me off.
Right, over to Wrexham now, and Mr. Heyman, who is not irregular on this programme.
Hello, James.
Timothy.
Oh, it's sad, isn't it?
What?
End of the road.
Any road up?
End of the road.
End of the road, I'm seeing. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
well,
rather depressing, isn't it, actually?
Not if you work these hours, no, it's great.
Yeah. Before I go on, will you be doing a weekday spot?
I understand. Oh, that's a tricky one. Yes, yeah, apparently yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
What time will that be?
Just a minute. Hello? I'm having to get instructions.
1 o'clock.
Is it? Is that all right to say so? 1 o'clock.
Oh, good.
1 p.m.
Oh, that's jolly good. What will it be like? Will it be a phone and all that?
There'll be a certain amount of that, yeah. There'll be no... I mean, if we've got the Minister for Overseas Development in the studio, then obviously Hamish Broun won't be able to come on and sing and recite some of William McGonagall's greatest poems to him. But we'll try and keep it fairly, fairly incisive.
No, well, I'll have to phone in from work then, won't I?
Yeah, well, it's cheaper. Look at it that way.
I suppose so, yeah. Will I be able to get a tape recording of this programme? Are you recording it yourself?
What?
Are you recording this programme?
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, this one now? Yes, somewhere in the bowels of the company. Yes, I expect so.
Will I be able to purchase a copy?
Yes, for £12. Send a cheque and allow 28 days for delivery to James H Reeve Enterprises, a workers' cooperative.
Yeah.
P.O. Box 261 Manchester.
Good. Right, before the news comes on, right, I'd just like to leave you with these thoughts, right?
Right.
Radio presenting always drives a man to drink, golf, or insanity.
Who said that?
Eh?
Well, I don't play golf, and I'm probably about the most sane person in the place, so I better have a drink, eh?
Yeah, well, why not, yeah.
Smash in. Yakida, there we are. And finally, in Atherton, Peter Baxter. I hope we'll just try and squeeze him in before die Nachrichtungen. Yes?
Hello, Jim.
Yes.
About time I talked to you. I've been trying to get through to you for years, right?
Yeah, well, you've got a minute. Ha, ha, ha.
All right. I've got a joke for you.
Good.
Right, there's this bloke, and he's driving down the motorway, and he sees this massive big fly on his windscreen, right?
Mm.
And he can't get it off. He tries the wipers and everything. So what he does, in the end, he stops it, right?
Yeah.
And,
Stops what, the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And, that's it. Bye.
Yeah, smashing, that was terrific. And incidentally...
What?
Incidentally...
Yeah.
When, have you been waiting for years to do that?
No.
Oh. Yeah. When a fly hits your windscreen, what's the last thing that goes through its mind?
Go on.
It's arse. Right, thank you. Oh, well, it's the last one. They can't really do anything now, can they? It's, after the news, that more Chris Rea, which I promised you, will be with you. And, I like Chris Rea. I don't know why, but he seems to have the right idea. That's all I can say, really. So, that'll be in 5 minutes' time. For the moment, on 11:52 AM and FM 103, this is Piccadilly. Chris Rea and Steel River. From the album Shamrock Diaries. Well, 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 one lives and one learns, doesn't one, eh? The inimitable Huck Vale has just handed me a piece of paper which has stirred me somewhat. Down there, you know, down below. It's a long record, so it isn't the time after 11 o'clock, which it usually is. It's very nearly 12 minutes past. In fact, in 3 seconds it will be. 2, 1... 12 minutes past 11. And the final correspondence from Eric XXGmex follows.
Hello, mate. Where have you been then?
I've just made the terrible mistake, which you have probably made yourself from time to time, of opening one of those packets of dry roasted peanuts. And you know, when you first open them, you know what your reaction is? No. Is there a horse in here? How did they do it? How did they manage to get all that smell into one tiny little foil packet? And why do people always eat half your peanut? Anyway, that doesn't matter. Look, this is the final letter from Eric XXGmex. Hello, good evening. Are you all right? There is no letter today, just a note to accompany the attached page from the Bible to mark the occasion of your parting. Actually, I thought you looked better with a quiff. As I was saying in my previous letter, I was walking in my favourite spot on Lindo Common when a ghost exposed himself to me. This, amazingly, was the ghost of Lindo Pete, who was completely legless. Ah, I thought to myself, that explains why he spent 2,000 years in the bog. And then he spoke. Then there's a price for a cup of tea, will you, Governor? Cough, cough, splutter. Oh. I declined, but stayed a while with Legless Pete, and we got chatting, as one does. After he had sobered up a bit, he showed me a Bible, which was over 2,000 years old, and therefore, he points out, was written much nearer to the actual time of the events it describes. It is, consequently, much more accurate, and he indicated some of the errors and omissions which have occurred over the millennia. I attach for your delectation a photocopy of a page from this ancient Bible, which Legless Pete very kindly lent me, and it deals with the creation. You will immediately see that it differs somewhat from the version with which we are accustomed, and I shall let you go out on the last emissions with a bang by revealing the page to the nation. Goodbye. Good evening. Take care now. Yours sincerely, Eric XXGmex. Genesis VV 3-21. Taken from the Bible before Jesus, 287 BC, modernised version reproduced by permission of the late Mr. L. Pete, Esquire. After the creation of light and the earth, etc., the main event of the creation for the Thursday of that week, or was it Wednesday? Anyway, was the birds and the animals in the oceans. And God saw that it was good. But that was just the main event of the day. There were other things to attend to, and one of them was that the Lord and the spirits had not eaten since the first day of the creation. And at 5:13, precisely on that Thursday, the Lord said, "Let there be chip shop." And lo, they beheld the chip shop. And at 5:14, the Lord said, "And it shall be called Fat Frank's Friary. And lo, they beheld the bright sign which said, Fat Frank's Friary." I'm sorry, I'm doing this in my Richard III voice, aren't I? And at 5:15 the Lord said, "Let there be Fat Frank, who maketh the greasy chips and the spare ribs." And lo, they beheld Fat Frank. And at 5:16 the Lord said, "Let there be cheese and onion pies." And lo, they beheld the cheese and onion pies. And at 5:17 the Lord said, "Let there be fish in breadcrumbs." And lo, they beheld the fish in breadcrumbs. And at 5:18, the Lord said, "Let there be salt, and let there be vinegar." And lo, they beheld the salt, and they beheld the vinegar. And at 5:19, the Lord said, "Let there be gravy." And lo, they beheld the gravy. And at 5:20, the Lord said, "Let there be those little wooden forks that break in half as soon as you've eaten 3 chips." And lo, they beheld the little wooden forks that break in half as soon as you've eaten 3 chips. And at 5:21, the Lord and the angels and the lords of light, who are the very highest order of spirit which can be attained, went to Fat Frank's friary. And it was horrible. And the Lord, in great anger, tore down the creation he had wrought from the bare earth, and there were great sheets of flame and fire. But the brimstone hadn't arrived yet, as the miners were still on strike. And the Lord and the angels held a great meeting and resolved an answer to the great problem. And at 9:53 precisely, the Lord said, "Let there be Chinese takeaways." And lo, there were. And then the Lord said this, that, and the other. Well, no, actually, he never said anything about the other, just this and that. And the Lord and everybody else were much happier with this, and returned home to put the radio on whilst they ate their chicken fried rice special. And at 10:05 precisely, the Lord said, "I've had enough of this geezer. Let's put him on days." And lo, they beheld the man who went on days. And at 10:06 precisely, an angel said to the Lord, "Pass the salt, please, Mr. Briscoe." He gets to the heart of things, doesn't he, Mr. G-Mix? Let us go elsewhere very soon.
Radio!
And to Northern Moor. And I think, I'm not sure about this. Have you got your long service medal yet, madam?
Hello, Jim.
You are Mame of Northern Moor.
Correct.
I think, I'll have to check up on this, but I believe you are Piccadilly Radio's listener of longest standing, not to say oldest.
That's possible as well, Jim. Incidentally, you mentioned Rick Seven.
Oh,
now,
Rick...
he goes back a long way as well. I remember him.
Rick Seven of Astley. If the company paid Rick Seven what he's been worth to them, then bang would go all our Christmas bonuses.
I like that one about the fly.
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
Incidentally, while you were reading that letter, my granddaughter's in bed in the next room and I can hear her giggling away.
Really?
Yeah.
Why, who's she got in there?
Only you on the radio.
Listen, Mame, excuse me, this is all very incestuous. Mame and I go back a long way.
Oh, a long way.
But I happen to know, Mame... Actually, we might as well chuck this one in. You, many years ago, told me a very, very funny story about your daughter, right?
My daughter?
In the police force. Or was it your daughter-in-law or something like that?
My daughter works for the police.
That's right, yeah.
Incidentally, you spoke to her.
Did I?
A few months back now, you might remember, her name was Carol, and you discussed the elections in America.
Oh, indeed, yes.
Well, that was Carol.
Well, you know me, I'll speak to anyone. Tell us a story, Mame, about when she was on was she in it? Or, anyway, the police choir, the police ladies' choir.
Right, yeah.
Excuse me one moment, Mame. Punter, listen to this. This is a real rib tickler. Now then, Mame.
Yeah, go on.
Go on, so they're in this bus, right?
They're in the what?
Come on, they're in this bus.
I can't remember, Jim. It's such a long time ago.
They're in this bus, right? It's the Greater Manchester Police Ladies Choir are doing whatever it is, the Nibelung's Ring or something.
Oh, was it when the guy jumped off the Has it?
No, they saw a stolen car.